Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope that you are staying dry and everything is good in your world. We are looking at Acts chapter 25. We're going to look at the whole chapter as it's a continuation of one story about Paul being in prison. And as we look at it, as we start in chapter 25, Paul is still in prison, and it says, now 3 days after Festus had arrived in the province, he went up to Jerusalem from Caesarea. And the Jews wanted to meet with Paul again, but what they really wanted is to trap him and to kill him, ambush him on the way on a journey to Jerusalem. And so again, they have another meeting, a face-to-face meeting, Paul against his accusers in the tribunal. And so he's meeting with Festus now, who is the leader, as opposed to Felix. And Paul lays out his case. The Jewish people lay out their case. And Festus really sees nothing wrong. And Festus says to Paul, well, do you want to go to Jerusalem so you can argue your case to the Jews in Jerusalem? Paul says, no, I want to go talk to Caesar. And so Festus thinks about it and he says, okay, to Caesar you have appealed, to Caesar you shall go. And so Paul's going to be sent off to Caesar, but in the meantime, he's back in prison until it could all be arranged. And at the same time, then King Agrippa and his wife Bernice come, and now Paul is going to come before them, and he's going to talk. What I find interesting in this whole passage, this whole section of chapter 25, and Festus, we're in verse 24, and Festus said to King Agrippa and all who are present with us, you see this man about whom the whole Jewish people petition me, both in Jerusalem and here, shouting that he ought not to live any longer. But I found that he had done nothing deserving death. And as he himself appealed to the emperor, I decided to go ahead and send him. But I have nothing definite to write to my lord about him. Therefore I have brought him before you all, and especially before you, King Agrippa, so that after we have examined him, I may have something to write, for it seems to me unreasonable in sending a prisoner not to indicate the charges against him. And that's really the bottom line there, folks. There were no charges against Paul because, as Festus had said, this is a dispute of Judaism. Paul says this, they say this. And it's really kind of the world we live in today. People are coming up with all kinds of ways to try to make Christians look bad. And sometimes we do it ourselves. But people are trying to come up with ways to make it sound like we are just crazy people. If we don't agree with you, we're this. If we don't agree on this one, we're that. And it goes back and forth. And sometimes there are no charges against us. But the world wants to do that. And so we're living in a world that's almost in some ways similar to what Paul went through. Most of us aren't on trial like Paul. We're not sitting in prison for years. But sometimes we feel like it. Sometimes I feel like it, to be honest. Like I can't say what I really want to say. I can't say it on Facebook or anything on social media because then it just becomes a war. And then Christians look intolerant and we look stupid, and we look like we're not affirming of anyone and everything and all the stuff that goes on. And there's a sense that we are inhibited in what we can say about Jesus if we want to be politically correct. So we're in a strange world, strange times. I don't know that there's a great point in what I'm saying today other than I see similarities to what Paul went through to what we're going through today. Never stop proclaiming Jesus. The greatest lesson that we could take from this, the greatest hope that we could have is that we continue to live a life that honors Jesus and proclaims Jesus by the way we live, and others will see that. That's the greatest gift we can give, is to love our neighbors. Love God, love your neighbors. That's the call. Have a great day, and God bless you.